Tonight could make or break everything critical night. Tonight stands as a divine crossroads, a moment so charged with spiritual significance that it could shape the trajectory of your entire life. This is not an ordinary evening. It is the kind of night heaven writes about in the unseen scrolls. The night when the seeds of your tomorrow are sown in the secret soil of your heart. Every thought you allow, every feeling you entertain, every image you embrace before the sun rises will either lift you into the fulfillment of your destiny or anchor you in the weight of delay. In this sacred hour, the invisible is louder than the visible, and the unseen hand of God is poised to respond to the inner decree you make. Tonight is not to be met casually. It is to be met with intention, faith, and the unwavering knowing that your life can turn in a single breath if your spirit dares to believe. This is the critical night, the make or break moment, the thin line between what was and what will be. The moment of decision shapes the future. There are nights when the world outside seems ordinary, but the realm within is anything but. Tonight is one of those nights. This is not merely a date on the calendar. It is the threshold between the life you have known and the life you are about to step into. The truth is, every significant transformation begins in the hidden chambers of decision. What you choose to believe in the stillness of this night will either become the foundation of your tomorrow or the chain that binds you to yesterday. This is why moments like these carry an eternal weight, because the human spirit is not changed by chance, but by choice. You stand now in the quiet theater of your own soul, and the curtain is about to rise on the next act of your life. The question is not whether change will come. Change is inevitable. The question is, will it be the change you have consciously chosen, or the change you have unconsciously drifted into by default? Too many live their lives reacting to the external, letting circumstances dictate the script. But the one who understands the sacred power of a moment like this knows that the future is shaped by deliberate inner decrees, not by the random winds of the world. You must decide tonight what story you are going to tell with your life, and not merely decide in words or wishful thinking, but decide with the deep, immovable conviction that what you have chosen is already yours. The mind may argue, the senses may resist, but there is a deeper law at work, the law that the world within shapes the world without. When you make a decision in the invisible realm, it sets into motion the unseen currents of life that rearrange events, people, and opportunities to match that decision. The danger of nights like these is not that they pass without fireworks, but that they pass unnoticed. You may think nothing is happening, but in truth, the soil of destiny is being prepared right now. If you choose half-heartedly, you will reap half-hearted results. If you choose in fear, you will reap fear's bitter fruit. But if you choose in faith, a faith so alive it feels like possession, then you set the stage for miracles. Tonight demands that you stop waiting for signs to appear before you believe. Tonight is about deciding without the evidence, choosing without the confirmation, and believing without the applause of the senses. Because the truth is, life bends to the will of the one who dares to decide before the proof arrives. That is the hidden difference between those who drift and those who rise. The drifters wait for conditions to change. The risers change conditions from within. And tonight, as you stand at this inner crossroads, you must be brutally honest with yourself. Will you continue to live as a victim of circumstances, or will you take the pen of choice and write a new chapter? The pull of the familiar will try to lull you into the safety of indecision, whispering that tomorrow is another day. But this is the deception that has robbed many of their appointed season. Tomorrow is shaped tonight. The person you will wake up as tomorrow is being crafted in this very moment, in the invisible space between your thoughts. And if you grasp this truth, you will not waste another breath entertaining visions of lack, defeat, or fear. You will close the doors to doubt as a ruler closes the gates of a fortress at nightfall, for you know that what enters now will set the tone for what emerges later. The moment of decision is not about emotion, it is about alignment. You may not feel euphoric when you decide. Feelings are often the last to catch up, but the decision itself, once made in faith, will carry a force greater than any fleeting mood. It is like turning the rudder of a great ship. The change in direction is subtle at first, but over time it will alter the entire course. The temptation will be to keep peeking at the waves to see if they are obeying you. Don't. Decide once and stand on it. If the senses scream no, you respond with a silent, immovable yes. If fear rises, you meet it with the authority of one who has already crossed into possession in the unseen realm. This is the secret of those who seem to walk with a supernatural flow. They are not more fortunate. They are simply more decisive. They understand that destiny is not found. It is forged in the furnace of determined choice. And so tonight, as the world sleeps, you are crafting a future in the workshop of your own mind. You are laying down a decree that will ripple through time, touching people and places you have not yet met or seen. And if you dare to decide in harmony with the highest vision you can hold, your life will not remain as it is. The external world has no choice but to conform to the blueprint you fix within. Do not think small. Do not decide timidly. Decide boldly, because heaven itself stands ready to endorse the decree of the believing heart. This is the sacred privilege of being alive, to stand in a single moment and shape eternity. Tonight is your moment. Take it, and your tomorrow will rise to meet the greatness you dared to choose. Imagination is the womb of reality. If tonight holds the power to make or break everything, then imagination is the sacred chamber where that making or breaking takes place, for it is the womb in which every event of your future is conceived. Nothing you will ever touch, see, or experience in the outer world exists independently of the inner pictures you carry in the mind. The world outside is only a mirror, faithfully reflecting the images you have entertained long enough to take root in the invisible. You may think of imagination as daydreaming or idle fantasy, but that is the error that keeps most people bound to repetition. Imagination is not play, it is creation. It is the secret engine of the universe, the workshop where God and man collaborate to bring forth the shape of things to come. Everything you now call reality was once held first in the mind, whether consciously or unconsciously. The house you live in, the chair you sit upon, even the words you are reading now, all first existed as unseen forms in someone's imagination. And the sobering truth is that the same law that brought beauty into the world will also bring misery if that is what you nurture within. Just as the womb cannot reject a seed once planted, imagination cannot help incubate whatever thought or picture you hold with persistence and feeling. This is why you cannot afford to entertain the images of defeat, lack, sickness, or loss. Every time you rehearse those pictures in your mind, you are planting the very seeds you wish to uproot. You cannot pray for victory while painting defeat on the canvas of your inner world. You cannot expect abundance while rehearsing scarcity in vivid detail inside your head. The law does not care whether the picture is wanted or unwanted. It simply receives it and sets in motion the process of birth. Tonight, the question is not whether your imagination is working. It always is. The question is, what are you giving it to work with? Are you feeding it with the images of answered prayer, fulfilled promises, and victorious endings, or are you letting it be hijacked by fear, memory, and the shadows of what has been? Tragedy for many is that they use their most divine faculty against themselves, creating futures they dread instead of ones they desire. But the good news is this: you can take the reins of imagination and steer it toward the destiny you long for. You do not need permission, resources, or perfect conditions. All you need is the willingness to hold the picture of your desire with such faith and feeling that it becomes more real to you than the facts that now surround you. In that moment, you are no longer begging for a change, you are conceiving it. You are depositing the seed of your reality into the womb that never fails to deliver. The wise know that it is not the intensity of work in the outer world that changes destiny, but the intensity of vision in the inner one. The most radical shifts are born not in noise but in stillness, not in chaos but in the quiet sanctuary of imagination. If you can see yourself healed, free, provided for, loved, and victorious in the theater of your mind, and see it so clearly that you begin to feel the joy of its completion, then you have already set the birth in motion. It will not matter what the current facts say, for they are only the harvest of past images, not the prophecy of future ones. Too many look at the present as a verdict, when it is only evidence of yesterday's inner work. If you do not like it, plant something different tonight. And here lies the great secret. Imagination works best in moments like this, in the stillness before sleep, when the conscious mind quiets and the gates to the subconscious swing open. Whatever you impress upon your inner self in these hours will sink deep into the fertile soil where all creation begins. This is why tonight is critical. The picture you choose now will begin its unseen journey toward manifestation the moment you rest in it. Do not think it strange that the world may resist your vision at first. The old harvest must fade before the new can rise. But if you remain loyal to the image, if you guard it as a pregnant mother guards her child, refusing to let anything harmful touch it, then you will wake one day to find that the outer world has rearranged itself to match your inner one. This is not wishful thinking, it is the way life works for every soul, whether they know it or not. Those who prosper in faith are not lucky, they are deliberate in use of imagination. They choose their pictures with care, they hold them with devotion, and they live as though they are already real. This is the power you hold tonight. The womb of reality waits for no one, it is ready now. Plant the seed you want to live in, and protect it until the day it takes form, for in the law of life, what you continually see within, you will surely see without. And when you understand this, you will guard your imagination more fiercely than any treasure, for it is the source of all that will ever come to you. Inner agreement before outer break. Before anything can change in the visible world, there must first be a settled agreement in the invisible, a deep, unshakable union between your spirit and the reality you desire. The mistake most people make is believing that breakthrough begins with external actions, new opportunities, or favorable circumstances, but the truth is, every true breakthrough is birthed from a secret covenant within. You cannot walk into a promise that you have not first said yes to in your heart. You cannot hold in your hands what you have refused to embrace in your mind. Tonight, in this critical hour, real work is not to strive harder, plead longer, or chase after signs. It is to make a final, absolute agreement with what you know in your spirit is already yours. This is not about begging heaven to do something. It is about aligning yourself so completely with the promise that you become one with it. Agreement is not a vague hope or a half-hearted wish. It is the soul's signature on the contract of faith. Once you sign it inwardly, the universe has no choice but to honor it outwardly. Think of two parties signing an agreement in the physical realm. The document is legally binding the moment both signatures are in place, even if the delivery takes time. In the same way, when your heart and God's word meet in perfect agreement, the deal is sealed and the manifestation becomes inevitable. The problem is that many try to claim promises outwardly while still wrestling with doubt. Inwardly, they say the words but do not believe the reality. They declare the blessing but secretly fear it will not come. And as long as that inner division remains, the outer world reflects it. Tonight, your task is to end the debate within. You must close the courtroom of indecision, silence the cross-examination of fear, and render your verdict in favor of the promise. This inner agreement is not something you force through willpower. It is something you receive through surrender. You stop resisting what God has already declared as yours. You stop postponing your acceptance until conditions look favorable. You take it now in the unseen, and you rest in the knowing that it is settled. And this is where many miss it. They confuse waiting with wavering. Waiting in faith is powerful. Wavering is fatal. Waiting says, I have it, and I will see it in its time. Wavering says, I hope I will get it if things go well. One holds the promise, the other chases it endlessly. Inner agreement produces a peace that defies explanation. Once you have agreed within, you stop striving for proof. You no longer scan the horizon anxiously. Instead, you walk through your day with quiet authority of one who knows the outcome. You do not have to keep reopening the matter in prayer as though God has forgotten. You stand on it, just as a homeowner does not call the builder every morning to ask if the house still belongs to them. The contract is signed, the property is theirs, even if the keys are yet to be handed over. This is why tonight is so important. The decision you make inwardly will be the pivot on which your future turns. When you say, I agree, you are not agreeing with what is currently visible, you are agreeing with the higher truth that exists beyond sight. And here's the mystery: once the inner agreement is made, circumstances begin to bend toward it. People you have never met, events you could not have arranged, and opportunities you could not have forced into existence start aligning themselves in ways you could not have planned. This is not coincidence, it is the magnetic pull of a settled spirit. But if you keep breaking the agreement with doubt, fear, or constant renegotiation, the process is delayed. Just as a builder will not begin construction if the client keeps changing the blueprints, the unseen forces of creation will not Finalize your desire until you hold the inner picture steady. Inner agreement also means agreeing with your own worthiness. Many can believe God can do it, but struggle to believe he will do it for them. As long as you secretly see yourself as disqualified, you will reject the promise even while claiming it with your mouth. The covenant of faith demands that you see yourself as the rightful possessor of what you ask for, not by arrogance, but by the grace that has already granted it. So tonight, erase the question mark, remove the if, and replace it with since. Stop saying, if it happens, and start living in the truth of, since it is mine. This subtle but absolute shift in language reveals the deeper shift in belief, when the mind, heart, and spirit are all saying the same yes. The outer world will not resist for long. The storm may rage for a moment, the delay may test your patience, but the end is certain, for the inner agreement is the birthplace of outer manifestation. Without it, you can labor endlessly with little result. With it, doors will open in ways you cannot explain, and so, in this make-or-break night, choose to seal the matter once and for all. Close your eyes, see it as done, feel it as yours, and refuse to reopen the question, for when heaven hears the unshakable yes from your spirit, earth will echo it in the language of answered prayer. The test of faith comes in the silence. There is a stage in every journey of faith where the noise fades, the signs seem to vanish, and you are left alone in the stillness. No confirmations, no outward encouragement, just the echo of your own belief ringing in the quiet. It is here in the sacred silence that the most defining test occurs. This is the place where many turn back, not because they lack the promise, but because they misread the silence as absence. They think God has withdrawn, that heaven is unmoved, that perhaps they imagined the whole thing. But the silence is not a withdrawal, it is the proving ground. It is the space where the roots of your faith either go deep enough to hold you or shallow enough to let you be swept away. The silence strips away the support of signs so that you can learn to stand on the unseen word alone. It removes the crutch of constant reassurance so that you may discover the strength of your own inner agreement. And though silence feels like nothing is happening, it is in truth the busiest season of all, for beneath the surface, everything is aligning, rearranging, and preparing to break forth in its appointed time. The silence is not a void, it is the hidden womb where the promise matures. Those who understand this do not panic when they cannot see progress. They do not demand God prove himself with daily evidence. Instead, they walk with the quiet dignity of one who knows the seed is growing even when the soil looks undisturbed. The farmer does not dig up his field every morning to check on the roots. He trusts the process. The silence is asking you the same question. Can you trust the process when you cannot trace it? Can you hold the vision without the applause of circumstance? Can you remain steadfast when the senses scream that nothing has changed? This is the crucible where faith is refined into something unshakable. Anyone can believe when the signs are loud and the miracles are fresh. True faith is proven when there is nothing to hold on to but the invisible. The silence tests whether you have been resting on the promise or on the feelings the promise gave you. If you need constant outer encouragement to keep believing, you are leaning on sight, not faith. But if you can keep your posture of belief in the absence of sight, then your roots are deep enough to endure any storm. And here lies the paradox. The longer you can endure the silence without wavering, the more quickly the manifestation comes, not because time itself has power, but because silence filters out the unstable. It is the training ground that prepares you to hold the blessing without losing it. Many lose their miracle not because they never received it, but because they were never prepared to carry it. The silence builds that preparation in you. It teaches you to rest when the evidence is absent, to rejoice when the senses disagree, to declare it is done, while the outer world insists it is not. The silence is also the great revealer of what you truly believe. In the noise of constant activity, it is easy to mask doubt with busy prayers, to cover fear with frantic declarations. But in the stillness, all pretense falls away, and you meet the raw state of your faith. This is a gift, though it feels like a stripping, because once you see where your belief wavers, you can strengthen it. You can replace the cracks of uncertainty with the steel of conviction. And once that is done, the silence no longer intimidates you, it becomes your ally. You begin to cherish the quiet, for it is here you hear the subtler whispers of divine instruction. Here you receive the impressions that guide your next step. Here you learn the rhythm of heaven's timing, and while others panic in the waiting, you stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. The silence is not punishing you, it is positioning you. It is ensuring that when the promise arrives, you are not shaken by its weight. It is ensuring that when the door opens, you walk through it without hesitation. It is ensuring that when the blessing comes, you do not sabotage it with the instability of a faith that has never been tested. And so, tonight, if you find yourself in that great quiet where nothing seems to move, resist the urge to fill it with noise, resist the temptation to interpret it as a denial. Instead, see it for what it is, a sacred test of endurance, a holy pause in which the unseen machinery of your destiny is working at full capacity. Let the silence prove you faithful. Let it deepen your trust. Sharpen your vision and anchor your soul. Because when you can pass this test, when you can stand unwavering in the absence of proof, you will find that the silence breaks not with a whisper but with a flood, and everything you have believed for will come rushing into the open in a way that makes you forget the long, still nights you endured. And yet, in the deepest part of you, you will know that it was the silence that made you ready. The night determines the day. Every sunrise is merely the public unveiling of what was privately settled the night before. For the day does not begin with the morning, it begins in the unseen hours of the night. The thoughts you allow to dwell in your mind before you rest, the emotions you carry into sleep, and the images you cradle in the theater of your inner vision are quietly scripting the reality you will step into when the sun rises. This is why tonight is not just another evening on the calendar, it is the architect of your tomorrow. The night is not a passive void between today and the next. It is the womb in which the seed of your future day is conceived, nourished, and set in motion. You may think your day begins when you open your eyes, but in truth it begins when you close them. The moment you surrender to sleep, your conscious guard lowers, and the deeper layers of your being become fertile ground for whatever you have chosen to plant. If you go to rest rehearsing fears, grievances, and failures, you are handing those very images to the part of you that creates without question. You will wake to find them mirrored in your circumstances, not because fate is cruel, but because you yourself have been the author of the script. But if you go to rest in the feeling of answered prayer, in the quiet certainty that what you desire is already yours, then you have planted the seeds of joy, provision, and victory into the very soil of tomorrow. And once planted, they will grow in ways you cannot predict, but will one day plainly see. This is the unspoken law that governs all the law, that the inner state precedes the outer experience. Too often, people wake up in the morning hoping for a better day, without realizing they had the opportunity to shape it the night before. They enter the daylight reactive, scrambling to fix what could have been prevented or redirected had they claimed their desired reality in the stillness of the night. Those who understand this truth use their evenings with purpose. They treat the final moments before sleep as holy ground, knowing that what they allow to dominate their awareness in that hour will follow them into the new day like a shadow. They consciously release all that is unwanted, laying down the weight of worry and the residue of conflict so that the night's work can proceed unhindered. This is not mere positive thinking, it is spiritual alignment. It is the deliberate act of shaping the blueprint of your life when the mind is most impressionable and the gates to the deeper self are wide open. And here is the mystery: the night magnifies what you give it. A fleeting thought in the daytime can fade, but a thought held in the stillness before sleep takes root and grows. That is why tonight is so critical. You are not only deciding how tomorrow will feel, you are influencing the course of the days and weeks ahead. The power of the night is cumulative. Each evening you spend in faith strengthens the foundation of your future, until one day you step into a reality that feels miraculous but is, in truth, the harvest of many nights spent sowing in the unseen. And this is why you cannot afford to let this night slip by carelessly. Tonight, before your eyes close, choose what you will carry into the silence. Choose the picture of your healed body, your restored relationship, your financial abundance, your fulfilled calling. See it vividly, feel it as if it is happening now, rest in it as though nothing more is required, for in that moment nothing more is required. The night will take that seed and nurture it, turning it into substance in ways beyond your comprehension. Do not sabotage this process by falling asleep in the arms of doubt, resentment, or fear. These are thieves that steal the joy of the coming day. Understand that you hold in your heart tonight the power to write the script for tomorrow's stage. You may not control every detail of what appears, but you control the atmosphere, the tone, the opportunities you will be drawn to, and the outcomes you will gravitate toward. and the more you practice this nightly alignment, the less your life will feel like a series of random events, and the more it will feel like the unfolding of a carefully written, divinely inspired story. The night determines the day because it is the bridge between what is and what will be. Cross that bridge with intention, and you will find yourself arriving at destinations you once thought unreachable. Cross it carelessly, and you will drift into a tomorrow that is simply a repeat of today. So as this critical night unfolds, remember, the hours ahead are not empty, they are pregnant with possibility. You are the author, you are the sower, and when the sun rises, it will reveal the harvest of what you chose to believe in the dark. Let that belief be worthy of the life you are destined to live.